Hello everyone, welcome to Foreign Farming in the Philippines. In my ongoing quest to set things right concerning G.D. Mead, I thought I'd make this following video. You know, G.D. and crew have said horrible things about myself and my family. But he hasn't limited it just to myself and my family. A gentleman named Gary, who has a YouTube channel called Kong King in the Philippines, has made a series, several videos concerning the unfairness and one-sidedness of things that G.D. Mead has said, and up to and including outright lies. He has striven to offer a middle ground, a non-biased take on things. At least I think that's how it started. As things have progressed and GD and company have began attacking him, I think he is no longer in the mindset of middle of the road, since the attacks have been levied on him as well. Now, G.D. Mead, as you know, there's a lot of things wrong with him, and I've outlined them fairly well so far. Liar, criminal, scammer, and now racist. You know, Jeff is of an age where, while it's not excusable, it is somewhat explainable. His use of words and terminology. That would be the case if he didn't use certain words in the context in which he used them, and with the vile and venom behind them. Gary from Kong King in the Philippines happens to be an African American, a black man, and you know, G.D. doesn't like anyone questioning him, questioning his side of events, or anything that he does, period. And if they do, if they offer any kind of opinion that differs from his own, they are blocked and deleted from his channel, and usually verbally abused on the way out. Now, I have done my share of blocking and deleting, but not for just disagreeing with my views or necessarily how I do things. People who are rude and disrespectful and don't have a place on my channel. It's as simple as that. But with G.D. Mead, if you differ, if you differ from the holy doctrine of Mead, even slightly, that's heresy, and out you go. So it really irritated him, the pushback that he received from Gary, Kong King in the Philippines, and angered him. And so it started out that he was just calling Gary a black fella. Now, G.D. Mead can't really use the defense that he's Australian, and that's how Australians talk, because he's from New Zealand. He's not Australian. And I think a different term is used for the native peoples of New Zealand, other than blackfella. I think that's a fairly exclusive term used by Australians. And the official definition of blackfella, and this is by, I think it was Wikipedia, Wiki Dictionary, something like that. Blackfella. An Australian male Aboriginal, that's the definition. And it says, the word has been reclaimed to some extent by Aborigines to describe themselves, but its use by other groups, non-Aboriginal, is now usually considered racially offensive. And I think that would go along the same lines as blacks in America reclaiming the N-word. One of the most vile words that ever evolved. I have an opinion as to the origins of that word and how it came to be pronounced, but its end use and the result of its end use was meant to be a derogatory term. Him using blackfella, I think it's it can be open for interpretation whether or not it's an outright slag on a person of color. You could kind of sort of make an argument on that. But I think those bets are off because of the way that Jeff used that term and his tone when he was using it. He meant it as a racial slur, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many others. Now, the next term that he has often used in reference to and to describe Gary, there's no ambiguity. Definitely meant it as a racial slur, and did not use. I could just tell by watching the videos he wanted to use the N-word so bad. But as stupid as he is, he knows that if he did use that word, he'd get a strike on his channel, and whatever video he was making would be taken down. So he chose the next best thing in his mind, in his small mind, and that was Jungle Bunny. And I can tell you that while it might not be quite as offensive as calling a black person the N-word with the R, it's close because the meaning is clear to those who are even slightly aware. But for those of you who are not, I'll read another, and this is from dictionary.com. Extremely disrespectful and offensive. A contemptuous term used to refer to a black person. And there's no question there. And again, if he had just said it once in a fit of anger, that would be one thing. But he's used both of these terms dozens of times, and I'm only focusing on these two. There's others as well. And I'm not going to make this a long diatribe. I just think that people who are not clear on the kind of person that G.D. Mead is on the inside should be made aware of it. And that's my position on it. Racism is, the cry of racism is all too often misused these days. And it's often used by someone who has lost an argument. you have nothing to defend your point of view with, and so you call the other person a racist. And it's a term that is hard to defend against if you haven't used certain racist words, certain button-pushing words. So how do you defend yourself? It's used nowadays as a way to read between the lines, I guess, of someone's intent. And if they don't agree with you, then they must be racist. So I think it's oftentimes overused, the cry of racism these days. In this particular case, no. This is plain, flat out, open, bald-faced racism. And I just wanted to give my take on it and make people aware. Thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.